Hey, this is 6 Bolt and Von Doom's Lab. Just want to make a quick update video on about, following up on why the Reaper light guns don't always hold back in full auto fire games. So in the last video, I talked about why it was working for House of the Dead 4 and I think another game, and now it's not working, and why that's happening, and why it doesn't work for majority of full auto fire games. So if you remember, I had like this little timing chart here. This is kind of what was happening with House of the Dead 4 when it was working. So the timing was great. It ended kind of right at Z0, then Z0 held it back. But now you kind of moved to the worst case. And kind of what my experiments did, I put a delay on it to get it working. So I've contacted retro shooters to talk to them about it. And yeah, there is some timing requirements for it. So not really a big surprise since it wasn't working. I knew there was going to be some timing requirements for it to make it get working. I talked to them a little about, hey, can you do like a firmware update? And I think that's kind of not possible and out of the kind of the cards. So, because it really makes sense for to do it in the Reaper light gun, because the light gun knows when it's doing the recoil, where it is in recoil, so it kind of knows everything going on. Like Hook of the Reaper doesn't know, if it's finished recoiling or not. It just sends information to it. It doesn't get really any information back. So that's kind of why it's like the best candidate for kind of putting a delay kind of buffer for holding back the slide. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen. So now I got the timing requirements, and it's pretty much really close to what I had. If you remember, I had 135, and worst case, it happens, at ammo 1. So when it goes from 2 to 1, so ammo 1, that's going to eat up. So the fastest recoil period, I think, is like 37 milliseconds, 40 milliseconds. That's on the Rambo game, but it skews from 40, like 37 to 60. But I recently updated that game to move off of the CTM recoil, which was doing that to the normal arcade output, which is gun recoil. And going to the gun recoil, it goes back to, I think, from 80 to 100. So now the fastest recoil is like 50, unless you use the old game file for Rambo, our arcade game. So I'm going to leave this at 50 and that 135. So that kind of made it 185 milliseconds. Kind of, it was for, this doing this recoil and ending and getting it. Their scores are going to have some jitter and some insertion delay and all that. But yeah, so what it came out to, I was only like 4% off. So it was a little higher. So I think, so I just made sure, so instead of 135 here, I boosted up to 145 to always kind of get it into the right. So it shouldn't matter on your computer or anything, because this is more based on the light gun. Of course, there's going to be some skew. The clocking probably on these like low-end microcontrollers are not the greatest. They have probably some jitter in them and all that, so it's not going to be like perfect milliseconds or anything. But if I do like 145, I think I'm pretty much in the clear enough with it. So So now I have the timing. Can I do it in Hook of the Reaper? And the way I set this up was a blocking delay. So there's a blocking delay and a non-blocking delay. What's a blocking delay? Well, that's kind of the simple thing. When you do like, go to sleep, you have a command called like sleep, or that pretty much just tells that thread to just twiddle its thumbs pretty much. So that whole thread, which is the main hooker engine thread, which does nothing really for 145 milliseconds. And that's not the best because that's getting into the reaction time of a human. Human reaction time is about 100 to 250. 100 is really fast. That's like, video game kind of legends and all that. That's like low latency. That's really amazing to get to like 100 millisecond reaction time to kind of give you a concept of like how fast like 100 to like 100 milliseconds is. I think like an eye blink is 100 to 150 milliseconds. That's kind of how fast just blinking your eyes is, like 100 to 150 milliseconds. So it's really, really fast, but still it's getting really close to what a human can react to. So I didn't want to use a blocking delay, so I wanted to use a non-blocking delay. Of course, you can figure out a non-blocking delay doesn't stop everything. It lets things run until, the timer runs out. Then you can do what you need to do. And that's a lot harder on how I architected Hook of the Reaper to do it. I think I can probably get it done. I think I have a way working, so I can get it done. So, yeah, I'm positive I can get it done. But it's going to be a pain in the ass, so I should hopefully, maybe in a couple days, hopefully, maybe release or something if everything goes right. So, just kind of give me an update. So, of course, this is, like I said, not a bug. It's not really a bug with anything, I wish. So now I have the timing requirements and all that and know what I can do. It's easy to do. So that's a quick update. So bye.